I'm going to call this meeting to order, the Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 meeting of Ways and Means. This meeting is being recorded by the Ways and Means Committee. If any other person present are doing the same, notify this guy at this time. All right, so nobody did, so don't record it, but we'll do a roll call of members. Councilor Sharon's, I'm here. Councilor Garrett.
Here.
Councilor Master Totaro.
Here.
Councilor Perry.
Here.
Councilor Wondolowski is not currently present.
Give it 45 seconds.
I think that's true. We'll roll into the approval of the minutes from October 15, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve the meetings from October 15th.
Second.
So, 1, 2. Is there any discussion about said minutes? Yeah. The only thing, so such a nerd. It's on the end of our minutes. It said next meeting was Tuesday, November 12th, 6 PM, which obviously is not true as we're here on the 19th at 6 PM. That's the only amendment I have to the minutes. Can I get a second to, I don't know if I have to friendly amend this or what I have to do.
Unanimous consent. to let it
That's
happen.
Spender's there or whatever. Like,
604. Was it? Oh, nice.
so yeah, I'm just gonna strike through that and put it to the correct date, which is November 19th. If it was wrong on the original agenda from last month, my bad for not catching it then. I don't know if it was, or if it's just a typo on this one. Do I have any objections to, or sorry, I guess we should vote on that, to amend these minutes somehow. Approve and amend. I'm just gonna throw that on there.
We're ready to
All
vote.
those in favor?
Aye.
For the record, that was 5 ayes, so I'm not gonna ask the rest of it. 604. I think I write that every month. 604. Is that cute? Yeah, we put it on. I'm gonna change the meeting time to 6.
You know, that would.
Why not? You know?
All right, so next is the public comment. Do we, this sheet? All right. We got Alex. Want to come up? You can go to the table if you want, get closer to the mic.
I'm Alex Harrow. It's more of a point of information than comment. I'm,
Do we need its address for the record?
yep, it's
It's our side, yeah.
72 Hastings Street in Greenfield. But I'm here basically to represent the Connecticut River Conservancy. I'm volunteering with them on the dam removal projects in the Green River. So I'm here to answer any questions that the committee members might have about the CRC's role and plans for dam removal. Marlo's going to tell you more about his concerns, but I just want to mention that I'm here if you need to talk to me. And we may be joined online by Rebecca Todd, who's the executive director of CRC.
Okay.
She hasn't committed yet, so she may show up a little bit later.
Okay.
Thanks for being there.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks. It's good. It's useful.
Anybody there want to comment?
Anybody, the few of y'all online, now's the time to put that little yellow hand up. All right. I don't see.
Randy just.
Oh, Randy just entered. All right. All right, move on from public comment over to. Oh, Randy lost it. Public hearing, we don't have any.
It's not.
Our first motion is to appropriate the sum of 150 grand for the Public Safety Data Center. This would be from the Capital Stabilization Fund. This was a request back in October. As I recall, all requests got reneged on. By the time we got to Capital Committee, they were all kind of pulled, but that doesn't mean they can't request later. I just wanted to point that out, that it's not that this was a lingering one we didn't address. But all requests from the police department were removed before we actually got to the budget deliberations and such. If you guys recall that earlier this
It's like the cruisers, right? Same idea.
Yeah, the cruisers, nothing was on there. Nothing was on for capital. But by the time it got to us, but just like the cruisers, some things get put on after that.
We have someone in the waiting room.
John, would you mind? Is there any?
Yeah, that was my
Supposed
main
to have a second on this, right? It's like.
second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this particular topic tonight?
That was my main question is, why it wasn't with the capital budget, so.
All of them, all of the requests got pulled by the previous chief. By the time it even got to the capital improvement committee, which is we reviewed before it even came to Ways and Means and then to city council, all of them were pulled. They just were like, nope, we don't want anything. So that made it a little bit easier for that one, but sometimes these things come up. We do have a balance in there that will cover this. I don't know if, is there any other?
Strikes me as necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering if there are other items in the budget that we don't know about, just to
Mhm.
make sure.
Mhm.
Even though there's a balance.
Right.
I mean, as far as I know, everything that has been, the balance stands with everything taken into account that was previously approved by us.
Okay.
I don't recall I didn't think to grab the balance from back in May when we took our vote, but I believe it was somewhere around $2 million. So the fact that this would still, it's still saying that present balance is 1.9 million and change.
Hey, what's maybe,
When she's wiping her iPad.
oh, okay.
Her nose on hand.
Well, Jenny, now that I see you there, would you like to elaborate on that?
I would elaborate on this. This is outdated and from Fernando, absolutely needs to be done.
Well, this is from Tech.
Yeah, and
Why did I think this was public?
positive, this had a positive unanimous recommendation from the capital committee. There is, I think, I don't have it open in front of me, but $1.9 million in capital stabilization. And as most of you saw today, free cash was certified, if that went out to you. So
Right.
even more to put into capital stabilization. Free cash was certified at like 3,300,000. So this is absolutely necessary and outdated. And again, I am never the person that should be explaining all of the IT needs, but that this needs to be done. Servers, etc. It was emergent that we put it on for this, for this meeting, because I think all the things will be outdated by the end of the year. So I'm hoping that you pass that, but it's up to you.
So this was an increase to a technology, to Tech's original request.
Yes, and
Okay.
just to be clear, the original request was for $132,000,
Yes.
which you approved. It was under technology, public safety data center.
Yeah.
But when everybody has to put in their requests, it's so early. People are putting in their requests now. And, I opted to wait on, there will be other capital requests that we may be voting on shortly that you all approved last year in capital committee.
Mhm.
We did the things this year like paving that needed to be done in the summer. But this became necessary now because things were outdated.
Okay, I had my stuff mixed up here. My apologies. So this is really just an increase of 18 grand on what we already had approved. We just hadn't gotten the order yet.
That's correct. And I actually was trying to postpone a lot of the capital orders until after the operating budget because it made more sense that we could do our operating budget first to make sure we could afford that.
We had this conversation.
Right. I know. Too many numbers, too long.
Why did you vote on $18,000 in this one?
Yeah, it is, right? Great. Thank you for being here and being able to make that clarification as I spoke erroneously, obviously.
I can read the data that he put in if you all want to hear that, because everybody wasn't in this.
The
Um,
attached
But
documentation.
I think it says it in your.
The attachment.
Yep.
It does. I just looked at the wrong
Price.
thing entirely.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions on this?
I think the documents made a pretty strong argument.
Okay.
That was too.
All right, then, all those in favor of this appropriation?
Aye.
I as well. Again, for the record, that's 5, so I'm not gonna ask the other questions. Our next order of business is FY 25-019 to repurpose the amount of 197 grand of our previous authorization FY 24-080 for repair design services for the electrical light and power dam to design and emergency repairs to the electric light and power dam. This was came in from the DPW. We had an original authorization for some other stuff. They seem like they got to move the money around. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. This was probably gonna be one of my only questions tonight. Thank you for being here, Director Warner. So from the scuttlebutt, and I don't read the paper that diligently, but from that and emails, what I've been able to parse together is that there's possibility of eliminating the 2 dams down that way. This one being the upper one, correct, underneath the bridge on Mill Street? Is
So
that-
clarification on that, the dam in which I was appropriated for repairs back in April is the EL&P dam. They call it the Mill Street Dam also.
Yep.
That is considered a significant hazard dam that cannot be taken down.
Okay.
Just for clarification. The
Okay.
Wiley Russell Dam, which you can see from Meridian Street Bridge,
Yep.
is a low hazard dam that can be taken down.
Okay.
I'm not sure, how that came out, so on and so forth with the press. We had an inspection done on EL&P Dam in September of 22, and they found some repairs that needed to be done. That's why I came to council in the spring for 252,000. This specific order is 197, but I had repurposed 3 other engineering accounts to go with the 197, just for just to call back what we did in the spring. So we've spent about 53,000 of that total 252 towards the engineering and design of the repairs of the EL&P dam. In September, when the divers went to the backside of the dam, as I indicated in my memo, which is part of the inspections in the engineering and design for those deficiencies that were found by the eye, but they also had to go underwater. They found they were saying a 10x6 opening of erosion, but they're now saying, reviewing everything, a 10x10 area towards the center of the dam near the bottom, which is compromising the dam. So really only one word is changing here because we have to do an emergency repair before winter, before we have high water and ice, because divers are needed to do grout injection, if you will, to repair the void in that dam. So one word is basically changed. It was engineering and design for repairs to EL&P dam. Now it's engineering and design in emergency repairs. That's the difference from the order in the spring. I just wanted to make sure that we were above board and we included the emergency repairs. And to summarize a little bit, working with the Conservancy, there's a plan later on for this specific dam, which we can get into later down the road. But the main goal now is we've moved forward with like 7 or 8 permits for this emergency permitting. And we would hope to get this done in December before we see ice, snow, and high water. The dam is somewhat compromised with that void. It's supposed to withstand what they call a 100-year flood, and it cannot do that under the Office of Dam Safety right now.
Well, that, I guess, leads to my question is, and maybe this would come to the mayor as well, is I guess the first alert is, is the plan to take down this dam eventually? And if so, how far out are we thinking? In that meaning, is it worth spending this money on it? Or do we have to? I know that there's probably some integrity there for the bridge. That's going to be, we appropriated money for the bridge to be repaired as well. So where that ties in with it, because as I'm sure you can understand, if the plan is to like remove this thing in the next couple of years, the question would be, why are we going to drop 200 grand on it? So I guess that's the two-part question there.
You're right. That's the thing. It's considered a significant hazard dam, and I can explain why. So there's a silt buildup behind a dam that goes upstream. So in the area of Enterprise car rental, we have a water and sewer main that goes underneath the river there. If the dam was removed, that layer of silt would be removed from the dam and upstream, and our infrastructure would be exposed. So in other words, the river would be lowered upstream. The only fix to that would be probably pump stations, so on and so forth, which could lead to millions of dollars. Now, the other piece working with the Conservancy is not a total dam removal. It would be a partial removal that's engineered, say 3, 4, 5 feet taken from the top of the dam. But as it stands now, unless we're going to spend millions upon millions, that dam cannot be removed.
Okay.
Because the infrastructure upstream.
Correct. That's one of the main reasons, yes.
Gotcha.
That's a clarifying question.
Sure.
So I read the financial order and the documentation accompanying it. And this is a really simple question, but I thought I read that it was 10-foot gap, or is it 10 inches? Because I have these really alarming images in my
This is
mind.
10 foot by 6 feet.
It is feet, right? I did not misread that.
Correct. 10 foot by 6 foot
Okay.
originally reported us, but it's now 10 by
10
10.
by 10.
once the firm reviewed everything.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an emergency. Okay, yep, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy and it was 10 feet there.
And just to clarify, this has turned into an emergency. On the other end of this, we're still going to have to, under orders from Office of Dam Safety, to go after those other less significant deficiencies that this appropriation was originally for engineering and design. But we got to cross the bridge, excuse the pun, to do the emergency repairs first.
Right.
Can I ask our friends from the
I was
Conservancy
just gonna do
to
that.
chime in, just because I know they work with lots of different dams and dams that might be considered high, well, you use high risk. And, you know, your thoughts also on the exposed sewage line and what you've seen, so.
Yeah, come on up if you want to join us. That'd be great, Alex.
I'm close enough.
All right.
So I'll start, but I want Rebecca Todd, who's joined the meeting, who's the executive director for CRC, to maybe follow up with some additional details. What Marlo has described is pretty much the case. He's an engineer, so he knows whether this is a real emergency or not. As far as the CRC is concerned, we are interested in doing partial removal of dam, which basically requires that the dam, at least the base of the dam, stay intact for what we're planning on doing.
Okay.
Therefore, doing this repair basically is not a waste of money.
That's what I like to hear.
Stabilize the dam. And the work that we're hoping to do, we still have lots of work to get funding, roughly millions of dollars of funding, because that's what it's going to take. But we're a few years out from doing anything with the dam. There's a lot of planning that goes into that, acquiring funds, et cetera. So if this is a true emergency, and I have no reason to think it's not, then absolutely this work should probably be done, especially from our standpoint that we need a stable dam to work with. So Rebecca, I don't know if she has.
Perfect. Yeah, Rebecca, welcome to the meeting. I appreciate any insight you want to share with us as well.
Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting CRC to speak. I think emergency repairs are always critical to do, and it sounds as if this repair is consistent with the future work we hope to be doing at this dam. We're not going to remove, provided we attract the funding for this, which is a big if. And CRC is doing all the applications for that, so that the further we're hoping to minimize any further cost or time expenditure from the city's perspective on the dam removal and the dam reconfiguration. And as Alex has said, we will need to have a stable underlayment for the dam. So I haven't seen the reports from the Office of Dam Safety or the engineers, but like Alex, I have no reason to doubt that this is a significant emergency, and it will be work that will hold the city in good stead for any future work that we're hoping we will get funding for, to improve ecosystem health, recreational access, and historic understanding of the dams in Greenfield. So I think this is, the timing's not great. It would have been nice to do all this all at one fell swoop, but we don't control the circumstances behind these structures. So from CRC's perspective, we are happy to see the city taking seriously the health of all its dams, and we support this effort.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I just had one other question, Marlo. I know that when we talked about this being, well, not the emergency part, but the dam being worked on prior to the eventual Mill Street Bridge work that's going to need to be done. You were saying this needs to be done first, essentially, short up. Is with these repairs and with just out of curiosity, the proposed future changes that might happen to that area of the river, is that going to cause any changes to any of the bridge work that needs to be done? I'm not sure what the entire bridge work did, so I don't know if it has to do with the abutments or like any kind of supports that would be in the water themselves as all. Does any of this work change what will need to be done to the bridge work that will be following this?
No, even if we don't do the original recommended repairs, it's not going to change the Mill Street bridge repairs. We were
Okay.
just trying to offset the two projects because we can't do them both at once.
Right.
And obviously, to dovetail with Rebecca and Alex, things happen. We didn't expect this. It was a standard inspection and boom, and now everything's moving really fast. I am receiving small bits of information. We have heard Office of Dam Safety did highly recommend, and I say highly recommend the repairs be done as soon as possible. So we got the ball rolling. And I got tidbits of information rolling in a little bit here and there, and I can share with whoever wants it, as soon as I'm receiving it. So,
Cool. Any,
Just one last question.
Sure.
Do we, I know there are other dams on the Green River further upstream. Are we aware about their integrity? You know, have they been inspected recently enough that we can be sure there isn't like a 6-foot hole in the one, you know, north of the Eunice William Bridge or whatever? Or is it south of it? Whatever, the one near the Eunice William Bridge, for example.
right, we have three significant or high hazard dams. One is the ELNP we're talking about.
Yep.
And we also have the one at Eunice Williams Drive, the Green River at Eunice Williams Drive Bridge. And also the Leiden Glen, as we know, we dredged that last year, the year before.
Yep.
So yes, they get regular inspections. That's where you see stuff pop up in my budget for third-party inspection fees. We have emergency action plans for all three of these dams, which we have to update yearly. So to my knowledge, we're going to have to do a little bit of work on the spillway at the Leiden Glen Dam a few years down the road. But other than that, I don't have any knowledge of any other significant repairs, with the exception of having to dredge the Green River behind Eunice William Drive Bridge because it's our water intake and it's filling in with gravel and silt from the flooding. But that's a topic for another day. Up and coming capital.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
anyone else?
If the mayor's still there, do you have any input, Mayor, since you were misquoted in the paper? Well, yeah,
Hi.
it was implied.
Yes, I think these people did a wonderful job of explaining it. It's hard to actually say why you need money for a dam repair when you're talking about taking it down. But as you can hear, it's a partial removal of that dam. And I understood that the work needed to be done. And I'm glad that we had this meeting so that these good folks could clarify that for you. It needs to be done, and we're still planning on going ahead, and are very grateful to the Alex and Rebecca and her group for helping us with this, because that really is the best thing for the environment. But that repair needs doing.
Thank you.
All right. There's nothing else. We're gonna vote on a recommendation to reappropriate this money. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Did you vote, Council Wendell?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't hear you, sorry. And it was an aye, it was an aye vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so all five of us said, yeah. Cool, we'll move on from there to, our fiscal year 2025 tax classification. We did have some good, dialogue across 2 months with, the folks from the assessor's office, and we got it looks like the chief assessor was here. Is he still here?
Still
Oh,
there.
he's still there. I
Still
somehow
here.
missed his name. And our other two of our board members here as well, the other two board members as well. Before I read these three, I might be going out of order a little bit, but I figured I'd at least say it because they are, all three are intertwined as A, B, and C. Is there any, if there's no substantive changes or thoughts to what was just previously discussed in our last couple of meetings that you guys haven't come up with any of the further investigation you've done, I guess if there's nothing additional to add to that, I don't want to belabor or like, you know, spend your guys' time going over the same kind of stuff. So I didn't know, that would, I guess, would be my question before going through these three things was, has anything new developed since we had those other two meetings And however, between the three of you, if anyone wants to respond to that, I will let you do it.
Yeah, there really have been no new changes.
Okay.
We were just working toward setting the tax rate and trying to keep things as under control as we could.
Mhm.
Our recommendations would still be the same, that we feel that we should be adopting a single tax rate and that we wouldn't adopt a small business commercial exemption or a small residential exemption. They're really not appropriate for Greenfield. And then additionally, I did prepare a PowerPoint, unfortunately, because we had a loss of staff and we were challenged through a lot of the classification timeframe. There's a bunch of errors in it. And so we have cleaned it up. I've got a better version that I plan to get out and use at the hearing tomorrow.
Okay.
And I could even show it to you tonight if you wanted to make me the host or allow me to share my screen.
I mean, if I would
It's-
prefer,
it's speaking-
honestly, if we're gonna do it, if we're gonna have this tomorrow anyway, I would prefer it to just be there. So you're not having to be repetitive.
And so the only additional
Yeah.
information that I could give is because we do have the approval that we need from the assessor's office and all of the different documents, LA3, LA4, LA13, and LA15. So all of our end of the approvals have happened, and we're waiting for accounting and all of the other numbers to be entered into Gateway, which is the software where we communicate with the DOR. And so I have an estimated tax rate, but I'm not sure if these numbers are going to change again. And so right now, where we're coming in with the tax rate is 1995. I'm hoping that there's a couple of minor changes, but from the emails that I've seen, we're indicating that we're close to the finish line. Hopefully, it'll change only a couple of pennies, if at all. And we did minimal changes, and I expended great effort to make sure that the sales that we were using were accurate, and so that we weren't going to I was trying to minimize any increase in values because of how far we have raised the values in the last 2 years. And I heard from a lot of people last year in January during abatement season. And I understand inflation and what's going on, and we're trying to keep everything to a minimal increase. So there was an increase that we had to do to the value of land. But we also did some increases to building values, but it was very small. And so let me see, I came up with from the PowerPoint presentation, last year's average tax bill was $5,633. And this year, the value did go up. It increased to 286,497, but the average tax bill will be 5715. So 5715 compared to what it was last year, it's a little bit of an increase, but it's overall, we did what we could to keep it to a minimum. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like less than $10 a month for average.
yeah. And so, that is more of a normal increase and not the hundreds or even in some cases $1,000 increase that some people saw in their taxes last year. So we are sensitive to everything that's going on in inflation and how much we've had to change things. But we did everything that we could to make sure that we're minimizing the impact as much as we can while still keeping up with market values. Another thing that we had discussed at the board too is that we've been trying to do an outreach meeting at the John Zahn Center for Ask the Assessor Night, basically. And also it was for exemption awareness, and it has gotten postponed a couple of times. And so we discussed today at our meeting that we want to schedule it for the middle of January. In the middle of January is when everyone has their opportunity to apply for an abatement, after the actual bills go out, which are the third and fourth quarter bills. The first two are preliminary because we're setting the tax rate now, and in July, we don't know what the tax rate's going to be or what the adjustments to value will be. So we look at what you paid last year, divide it by 4, basically, and that's your bill for the first and second year. And then we're going to see the difference now. In the third quarter, that's when you have 30 days to apply for an abatement. And it's not maybe the wisest thing for the assessor's office to do, to say, hey, come and talk to me now at this time. I don't want everyone to apply for an abatement, but we do want people to understand how the tax bill works. And if there is a problem with their bill, well, let's talk about it and make sure that we get it straight. And so we've done a couple of other outreach sessions through Greenfield Community College, and we're going to incorporate the information that we had and some of the trial work that we did with these other classes to basically set the stage for what we're going to present in the middle of January. So if you do have questions to ask the assessor, there's really probably not a better time to be asking them than when we can do something about your value, because that's what it is. We have that 30-day time frame for you to apply for an abatement, and then otherwise we can't really do. We could correct it if something's wrong, but we can't make your tax bill right. And so that's what the plan that we had come up with, and what we want to do is do this outreach at maybe not the most ideal time for the assessor's office, but maybe at the most ideal time for the residents of Greenfield, if they have questions about their bill, and then they're going to have their most recent current tax bill to have questions about, and we're going to attempt to field them, to take it right up front and not hide or run away, but let's see what would happen. And if there's any questions or anyone needs some education because they don't understand exactly how the whole process works, we're going to try to be available to give them that information or provide it and provide it at a key time when, if there is a difference to be made, there's something that we can do about it, as opposed to, well, you're out of luck because we did this, after that time frame. So
Awesome.
Randy,
Thanks, Randy.
I'm not trying to throw a wrench into anything. This is more out of curiosity than anything else. And if you don't have that handy, I know you went over this for the last huge presentation you had a 3 months ago. Could you, off the top of your head, as far as average bills go, what a ratio of 1.1 and 1.2 might be in comparison from residential to commercial property?
you're talking about a split tax rate?
Right,
And what would it be at 1.1?
1.1 and 1.2. And if you don't have it, that's fine. You can
I
email it.
actually do. So I anticipated that we might have this type of question. And let's see. If you could bear with me for just a second.
While Randy's looking that up, so the outreach session that he was talking about, we were actually bandying about scheduling it for the same night as a council meeting, but before, so that more people might show up.
Don't make our meeting late. It's
Yeah.
a hard stop at 6:30.
When you guys start, is when everything stops.
Something.
That sounded a little insulting.
Everything helps.
It keeps going and going.
People, it's a lot of people.
Sorry, this is taking so long. I'm trying to
Okay.
put it to Excel to be able to manipulate it a little easier.
You can blame Mastro, it's fine.
We really appreciate you guys taking the time at those prior meetings to work with us on this.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
You guys brought all the,
Very, very insightful, the whole thing.
yeah, it was very helpful.
It's good knowledge to have because you get the random questions throughout the year, and even when you've been doing it, you're.
Randy, again, I don't want to hold things up.
No, I've got the information, so I was just waiting for the conversation to die down. 1929, at a factor of 1.1, it would be 1929 for a residential rate and 2195 for a commercial rate.
Uh-huh.
And so let me get the other one of a factor of 1.2. What did you say, Michael?
Yes. And that was their averages, obviously, right?
That's the,
1915 would be the residential rate and 2234 would be the commercial rate.
that's the per
And
thousand.
so if you remember from our presentation, it's basically every dollar that you save a resident, you add $3 onto the commercial businesses.
Wait, did I mishear you on the 1.1 one was 1929, but the 1.2 was 1950.
I think he said 15.
I wrote down 1950 as well.
Okay.
That was the year you were born.
Yeah, because it would be lower because it's a higher split.
You were right. Thanks.
No problem. And I'm, it was a good question and I was ready. Because I thought that that might come up.
There's no fooling you.
Great minds think alike, right, Michael?
What's that?
It's a great minds think alike, right?
That's right.
He would know.
It's the count.
All right. Cool. Thanks for the info and thanks for joining us. I hope that we'll see you tomorrow and I hope that it goes easily on you and that, you know, other folks have paid attention to the presentations that you've given us because they're very thorough. You got something else, Jim?
Yeah, one thing, we did these 2 sessions at GCC,
Mhm.
educational sessions, and we probably ought to do that for the council.
Okay.
You know, I know you guys have a lot of other commitments, but it might be worthwhile, and the presentation needs to be modified further. So it focuses on.
That's not gonna happen in the next 2 months, so.
Pardon?
I don't see it happening in November and December if we.
What? This would be, you know, probably after we did the listening session so that we could adjust the presentation.
Okay. Cool. No, I appreciate you guys' engagement. It's a big thing for people and I don't know that there's
And you know,
historically been a lot of accessible information. So it's good to have, what, really? Come on.
that's what I was gonna, that's the words out of my mouth. I mean, this is a whole new Board of Assessors, which is very informative and there are no mysteries and we like that.
Yeah, well, you can thank the guy that's up
Yeah.
on the screen.
You know, and it's also just helpful to get the deep explanation, because, you know, you hear about split rate and I understand that it helps taxes be more progressive, but having your explanation about this community, helps us to make better decisions, so.
For sure.
I agree. I think it was a great exercise to, in advance, get together and then field questions and try and explain things. And it's pretty much, I think we should do it every year.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's not a bad idea.
I see Jenny, you put your hand up. I don't know if that's a new hand or
It is.
former
No.
hand.
What is
I
that?
just wanted to thank the Randy and the Assessors Department and the Board of Assessors. But Randy, huge shout out to him and his department. The work that he put into getting us through this classification hearing this year was just tremendous. And I don't know if you've seen the thing on the new growth, but that was all Randy. That was
It's fantastic.
and his board, but his idea to go out and be looking at the personal property and that was huge that we actually more than doubled the new growth. And I just wanted you all to know what a tremendous effort he's put into this and you can see the results with what happened this year.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate the work that's been done and the explanations and the excellent assistance that you guys have clearly volunteered your time extensively to help out as you described, as Randy's described, in making this smoother process better for
But Ginny,
the residents.
it's been all.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. Yeah.
Any bucks?
Round of applause.
Well, thank
Maybe
you.
the wrong audience is a big back factor.
Well,
thank
we have
you.
Mutual admiration to society. Let me just say, you know, how much my board members have stepped up and really tried to help me out all year and really have helped me out in ways I can't even begin to explain. It would be too complicated to you know, to go on for so long to explain to you just the impact of what their help has provided to the office. And I've worked in different municipalities, and this is the most active and caring board I've ever worked with.
Right.
Hey, don't let it go to your head, fellas.
We ready for a vote?
What is zero?
All right, so as I said before, I kind of took things out of order because I don't know, I guess I can. And if not, someone will tell me I did it wrong. But since these three orders were tied together, that's why I wanted to just have one discussion. So I'll now read the orders and we can put in our quote unquote official recommendations for tomorrow evening. For the first one is 25-027A. That the city council adopt a minimum residential factor of 1, resulting in an equal tax rate for all classes of property for fiscal year 2025. Is there any specific discussion, or can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any specific discussion on that one of the three pieces?
No.
All right, all in favor of a positive recommendation of that as it's written? Aye. Thank you, I heard that.
Shouldn't have leaned back so you could see. her.
Yeah, I did. Tall arm. All right, then we can move to the 25-027B. This would be that the city council votes that no residential exemption be adopted for fiscal year 2025. Is there any, well, can I get a second? Thank you. Any discussion on that one?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And 25, surprise, -027C. Move that it be ordered that the city council votes that no small commercial exemption be adopted for fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that piece?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I as well. All right. Cool. We're done with motions. We got no topics that have been listed for discussion. So our next meeting, make sure this is the right dates then, is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 at 6 p.m. right here in City Hall Meeting Room, second floor, and a Zoom hybrid unless it gets posted otherwise somewhere. And with that, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Geez, it took a while.
Second.
Cute. All those in favor?
Absolutely.
Me too. All right, we will be adjourned now at 6:50 p.m.